everyone, and welcome to A Beautiful Mess. This is going to be kind of a different video than what I normally do, and let me tell you why. So first of all, a lot of you will recognize this home as being Mira's, and when I posted this video of Colt playing with the water bottle, there were some people who noticed the background of her living room and noticed that it was recluttered again, and then also people were wondering if she had been keeping her kitchen clean, and were concerned about that maybe getting messy again. So, and they also wondered how I felt about that, if it was dirty again after I spent all the time cleaning it and making it look pristine like this back in November. And then also her bathroom, whether or not it was still clean after I cleaned it beautifully. That was just the sink. I didn't show you all the bathroom, but and then this is just video of me actually doing that cleaning back in November. So while you just watch some of these clips from that original video of me cleaning her kitchen, I will tell you that I actually expected her home to be messy again, because it had been, 5 months, I think, since I had been there. And I knew all of the stuff that she had been dealing with, like losing Cupid. She lost her mom. She still has ADHD. That didn't go away. She has seasonal affective disorder on top of already chronic depression. And then she's got her health issues from especially the sepsis that she had a year and a half ago. So she has lack of stamina. She's physically incapable of doing certain things. And all of this is so new to her and does not come naturally that she didn't really think that far ahead, after getting the kitchen and bathroom clean, that there needs to be a maintenance schedule. So never got to that part. And she actually talked about this in her last video, that she is working on a maintenance schedule now so that she can stay on top of it. But all that being said, when I got there, yes, it was messy. And I took about 15 minutes every morning before we'd get started on the scrapbook room just to tidy things back up again. And by the third day, it was back to looking great. So no, it didn't take the 19 hours it did the first time to get this kitchen into shape. It only took 45 minutes. So there is some more awareness on Mira's part now about what she needs to do to keep these areas clean after they have been cleaned once. And I'll actually talk at the end of this video about some other things that we're doing for Mira to help her keep on top of everything. Another reason I wanted to do this video was to bring awareness to the fact that we all deal with things differently. There have been comments on not just my channel, but a lot of other cleaning channels as well about, I have ADHD and my house doesn't look like this. This is disgusting. Like, how could anybody live like this? I would never do, whatever it is. They don't understand that people have different brains. People have different experiences. Some people were never taught to clean properly. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons homes get like this. And I mean, I'm one of the few that I think cleans when they are depressed. And I know that's probably the minority of people, and most shut down. And it's easy for a house to become like this when you are not functioning. Plus, you never know when tragedy is going to strike. I've had a lot of you tell me stories about how you used to keep a very clean house and never imagined that you would be in the circumstance you are now, to where you cannot keep up with your house. And things can change in an instant, which brings me to a couple of stories I want to share. So the first one is about my sister and her family, particularly her husband. So this is Laura, my sister, and her husband, Matt. So was on a vacation somewhere, not sure where, but, and this is their beautiful family. And they've had their share of trials just like anybody else, but none like the one that happened November 11th, 2020. So this is Matt in the hospital after he suffered a stroke at the age of 42. He actually turned 43 while he was in the hospital. And he's only 2 months older than me. So it was kind of eye-opening just to think, holy cow, this could be me. This could be anybody, really. And my poor sister, who's 2 years younger than me, having to deal with this new challenge and stress of having a husband who is half paralyzed, or paralyzed on his left side, and is now in a wheelchair. And they've had to make all kinds of accommodations for him. And though he's doing amazingly well for how bad the stroke was, their lives will never be the same again. Nothing like they were 4 years ago. So you never know. And that now brings me to Tisha. You guys may remember Tisha. She is who I affectionately call my gift hoarder friend, who I did the video about, and I will link here in case you guys want to check that out. But this is Tisha. She's actually allowing me to show her picture, but this is how she looked 4 or 5 years ago when I first got to know her. This is her and her beautiful family, and another picture of them. And this is, again, how she looked 4 or 5 years ago, before she had a few surgeries and then COVID, which absolutely has turned her life upside down. So I will get back to Tisha and some of the things she struggles with in a minute, but let me just lay out the rest of this video and kind of what I'm trying to accomplish here. So ways to help someone who's struggling. I'm just going to show you some ways that I have helped Tisha throughout this past year, while she's been struggling with some of her health issues and mental health issues, because they're oftentimes related. When people have health issues, it often affects their mental health as well, because it can be so devastating not to be able to do the things that you used to be able to do. And don't worry, this whole thing is not just about helping by cleaning, because I know not everybody is capable of doing cleaning for others, and that's okay. There are other ways you can definitely help someone who is struggling, whether that's a family member or a friend. I know we all know somebody who is struggling with something. So let me just give you a quick rundown of some of the stuff that Tisha struggles with, so that you know why I'm cleaning her kitchen 3 different times in this video, plus other areas of her house, plus doing some laundry. So although Tisha has had some autoimmune issues her whole life and has struggled with some of those things, most of the problems she has now are due to having COVID and it flaring up all of those autoimmune issues. So she now deals with things like extreme memory loss. She says it feels like she's been in a coma for the last 3 years, and she just can't think clearly, can't multitask. She gets severe migraines, ear pain and ringing, pressure in her head. She gets dizzy and nauseated and has fallen a few times, even dislocated her shoulder because of it, and had to have surgery. So utter exhaustion. She will be down in bed for a couple of weeks at a time, which is usually when I'll come and take her laundry, because she gets way behind on that. And she also has severe anxiety and panic attacks, and it's hard for her to leave the house because she never knows when those panic attacks are going to come on. So she's just got a hard time planning anything, and it just makes life really hard. So I have been helping her every Monday for the last year. And we used to focus a lot of our time on decluttering and cleaning just areas of her house, like the video that I did of her closet. And that was very helpful. But lately, what I have found to be the most helpful is starting with usually the kitchen, or somewhere that it is a common area that's like a daily type chore. This is something I learned from Dana K. White, because there are things that only the homeowner can do. only Tisha can make decisions, well, or her husband, about things that they're decluttering. I can't make those decisions. So I work on something that I can do that doesn't take a lot of decision making. So that frees up Tisha's time to do the things that only she can do. And you may be wondering, where's her husband and her kids? Why are they helping with all this? And the answer is they are when they can. So her husband's very busy running his business, and he also has ADHD. So sometimes he doesn't see the mess, which I've learned is a very ADHD thing. But her kids do have their chores, and they're still pretty young. So sometimes it takes a reminder from mom or dad to do those chores. So sometimes things just fall behind. Okay, so I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I have been sitting here hovering over the record button for like 10 minutes, just trying to figure out what exactly I want to say in this video, because there is so much that I've been thinking about and wanting to put out there in a video, and I don't know how to put all of my thoughts. Sometimes that is the number one thing that I struggle with, is getting my thoughts together in an organized fashion. So bear with me. I may just ramble here for a minute, but just let me, because sometimes that's how I have to get these things out. So I guess the main purpose of putting out this video is because when I started my channel almost a year ago, let's see, today is May 3rd. I started it, well, I put out my first video on May 13th of last year. So almost a year. I didn't really know what I wanted to accomplish with this channel other than helping other people and spreading a little kindness. But there have been so many comments that I've gotten over that year that just people detailing their own experiences, their own stories, things that they have tried to help people in their family or friends with, in a situation. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to let you guys enjoy this clean kitchen for a second. Like I said, this might be a little disjointed, but I also want to make sure that you get to see the clean kitchen, that I don't interrupt those parts. But now we're back to dirty, because this is a different day. And so we're jumping from May of last year to October. And for some reason, the lighting in this video is not great. I don't know why. It's really washed out. So sorry about that. But anyway, so back to the purpose of my channel. It's kind of evolved, and there's been a lot of people who've said that they are now trying to find people to help in their community. And I don't think it needs to even be a grand gesture or, doing a free cleaning like you see on my videos, or Max or Barbie's or Ari's. But even just helping with, a friend who just had a surgery, or just had a baby, or, there are those situational things that are easy to identify that somebody needs help. But there's also people who are kind of struggling silently, and it is harder to detect. But I was actually talking to Mira about this last week. I just happened to be up in that area and stopped by for a couple hours to chat with her. And I just asked her, how, other than reaching out like she did, and that was very brave of her to actually reach out to me and ask for help. But how would somebody know that someone else is struggling? And she gave a great answer. She's just like, who are the people that are missing in your life that you haven't seen in a while, that have you're just like, what happened to so-and-so? And I thought that's exactly what happened here with Tisha. I hadn't seen her in so long. It was months and months went by where, I mean, she would drop off gifts to me because that's just her thing. She's so funny. But she would either send her husband or her kids to drop off gifts, and I would never actually see her. And so I was like, there's something up that, she doesn't want me to see her. And anyway, it's kind of a long story, but I came to find out how much she had been struggling with, and I had been too busy to really notice. So that's the other thing that I want to point out, is that sometimes we need to slow down, look outside ourselves. I think it's very human nature to be selfish and be worried about our own problems and what's going on in our own lives. But if we slow down for a second and just think about other people and who might be struggling and need a little helping hand. But when you do identify someone, because I guarantee there is someone in your life who could use a little help. And maybe that's even you. But if that is you, I promise that if you are looking outside yourself and finding other people to help, that comes back to you. I mean, you don't have to help, again, in a grand way. You don't need to go clean their whole house. Just sitting with them sometimes in their trial and listening to what they're going through and having a little empathy can really go a long way. So there's so many things that I think we are all capable of doing. Because as of this recording, I have about 51,000 subscribers. And thank you, by the way. I'm just blown away that my channel has grown this quickly. I mean, I'm just me. It's weird. But that's 51,000 people that can go out and help 51,000 more people, if you just reached out to one other person. And I'm a numbers person, so I really like to think about how that multiplies. I mean, I can only help maybe 10 to 20 people a year, but if each of the 51,000 of you can help 2 or 3 people, it's crazy the amount of people that can be helped. So anyway, I just love to think about that. By the way, if you haven't noticed, we are on a different day now. This is in March of, just this last March, a couple months ago. And the reason I'm showing this kitchen being cleaned 3 different times is not to be annoying and just keep showing you the same stuff over and over, which there will be some vacuuming coming up here, which is really satisfying. And then laundry, which is even more satisfying to watch it be folded. But anyway, the point in showing you the kitchen 3 different times is just to show that sometimes people need help more than once. And there could be a million different reasons for them needing help again, whether they've just experienced another loss or still have continuing health issues, or maybe they've just gotten divorced and are trying to figure out this whole single parent thing and just need a little lift from some outside source. So anyway, whatever it might be, but this does not mean they get to take advantage of your generosity and kindness and exploit that, because there definitely need to be boundaries. Speaking from experience, because there are definitely people out there who will take advantage of the situation and suck every little bit of compassion out of you until you get to the point where you're resentful for even offering to help in the first place. So don't let that be you. Set clear boundaries. Tell them, I can bring you a meal sometime this week, if that would be helpful. Could I take your kids for a few hours while you catch up on housework or some sleep? Is there a specific area of your home that has been bothering you that would bring you a little peace if it was back in order? Maybe I can work on that for a couple of days. Whatever, be very specific. In fact, being very specific like that, I think actually helps both parties because, first of all, it helps set the limit on, what you're willing to help with. But it also shows the person being helped that you actually do care, that it's not just a sentiment of, oh, just let me know if you need anything. Because I think we often say that, and even though it's well-meaning and we might actually mean that, 9 times out of 10, or even 99 times out of 100, people are not going to actually ask you for that help when the time comes, because they take it to mean that, oh, they're just trying to brush me off in a nice way. And this is something that Mira and I just talked about because, she's like, I've had that sentiment said several times, but it doesn't mean anything unless you follow through. So giving a specific thing that you're going to work on, I think just helps both parties. Okay, this kitchen is almost clean for the third time, and I promise we're going to move on to some laundry and vacuuming and other stuff. But before we get to the laundry and things, I did want to take a few minutes to talk about something very important that I have been kind of binging some podcasts and YouTube videos lately about this topic, but victim mentality. Let's talk about, first of all, what it is and why I'm bringing it up. So I'm going to read you 11 signs of victim mentality, and you tell me if this sounds like you or anyone you know. So, first, they're constantly blaming other people or situations for feeling miserable. They possess a life is against me philosophy. They think others are purposely trying to hurt them. They're cynical or pessimistic. They feel powerless to change their circumstances. They enjoy sharing their tragic stories with other people. They have a habit of blaming, attacking, and accusing those they love for how they feel. They're constantly putting themselves down. They believe they're the only one being targeted for mistreatment. They refuse to analyze their beliefs or improve their life. And even when things go right, they find something to complain about. So I want to be very clear that there is a difference between having a victim mentality and being a victim of something. A lot of the people I have helped have been victims of some very traumatic things that I cannot even imagine going through. So I get that they have been hurt, they've been traumatized. And that is something I never want to diminish or blow off as though, oh, that happened in the past, just get over it. Those feelings are valid. Some people really have been very victimized. That is totally different than having a victim mentality and feeling stuck, and as though you can't do anything about your current situation. Some people thrive on being the victim, and I don't think that they want to change because they get a lot of attention for it, and it has become a way of life for them, which makes it really hard for people to help because it gets exhausting, honestly. I mean, I compare it to being trapped in a maze. And maybe it's not your fault that you got trapped in this maze. Maybe somebody loved you blindfolded into the middle of a maze and left you there. And rather than trying to find a way out, you just sit in the middle of this maze and think that something will change. So, somehow the maze will just disappear around you. But that's just not how it works. So unless you're going to help yourself and do something about your circumstances, it's really hard for people to hear you rehash a story over and over, as tragic as it is. if you're not going to do anything about it, and you will burn out all of your helpers. So that's just my little bit of advice if you are the one being helped. Okay, we're moving on to some laundry. This ended up being about 14 loads of laundry that I took from Tisha's house to do. It was so much fun. I actually almost begged her to let me take this because I love laundry, as you know. So while you enjoy me folding this, I am going to share some words with you from one of my subscribers who left this in the comment section. And I thought it went along very well with what this video is about. But she's a good example of somebody who has had some trauma and some, terrible things happen, but has seen herself as not the victim anymore. So I just wanted to share some of her words with you, and I did get her permission to share this. Her name is Karen, and here's what she wrote. She says, in the early days of my depression, I felt like, woe is me, and I wallowed a bit. But all that did was make it worse, push everyone away from me, and hurt the people I cared about. So I gave myself a good talking to and went for counseling, she puts in parentheses, which I love that she added that, because sometimes these things are too big for us to handle on our own, and we need a little therapy, an outside source to help. Okay, and then she continues, I now let the depression come if it has to. These days it's much more manageable as I've learned to live with it and just ride the down days, knowing it will change eventually. But I refuse to be a victim to it. I let myself be at first, and I really don't think it helped. All it did was give power to those who caused the trauma situations to begin with and took power over my own life away from me. I can't change the past or what has happened to me, but I can change how I see things and deal with it. I don't want to be a victim, and I no longer want the cluttery consequences of it. I can't do a lot at once. My back gives out pretty quick and hurts all the time. Plus, I work full time, so my available hours are limited, but I've been chipping away at it for a few weeks now since I watched one of your videos. I've done more today. This will be a marathon rather than a sprint. I have a whole house to address and make sure I keep it free of clutter and clean and tidy, but I'm now in the mindset to make the change and want to stick to it. So thanks again, Karen, for letting me share some of your words and your experience. And if anybody out there has identified some of those signs in themselves that they might be playing the victim and wants help for that, I would first recommend going through your insurance if you have it to find a counselor. But if you don't have insurance or can't afford a therapist or a counselor, I will link in the description of this video it was actually an article I found about how to receive mental health services if you can't afford it. So hopefully that will be helpful to someone out there. And I will also link a couple of articles about victim mentality and how you can help yourself, or if you are the person dealing with someone with victim mentality and how you can help them or deal with them. So look for that in the video description. Okay, here is your reward for listening to all of that and listening to me ramble on. If you in fact did listen to all of that, because I kind of expect this video is not going to do that well, and that's okay. I really still wanted to put it out, even if it helps just one or two people out there, because I think it's important to know how to help other people and also how to be helpable. Anyway. Okay, do y'all remember Lisa, who helped me with the kitchen at Julie's home? Well, it turns out she lives not too far from Mira, and so she is going to be helping her on a semi-regular basis with some of those things that Mira can't physically do, like some stuff in her bathroom and kitchen, and she's going to help her maintain those areas. But also, I wanted to show you some before and after pictures of Lisa's office, because she was inspired by both Mira and I to get it decluttered and organized. So those were some before pictures, and then here's some after pictures, a little bit tidier and she shifted some stuff around. So, but she also took all of these manuals in this drawer and put them on a thumb drive, which I thought was genius. Love it. So anyway, enjoy a little Colton clay while I just tell you guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm hoping soon I will have some yard work videos out, because I know you guys have been asking about when I'm going to put those out. So it's coming. I'm working on some of that. But I do also have a couple of other houses I've cleaned, so I'll make videos out of those as well. But anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great week. Thanks. Bye, guys.